Alright, we are live for a very impromptu episode, right, of Mastery Mondays episode 5. I think most of you should be watching the recording, right? Recording quality might not be as good as I want to, but hey, got to squeeze some time, right? I committed to doing it, so let's go, right? For whoever might be listening into this right now. Okay, so very quick right? Today will be a very pretty short. Maybe I'll do another video reshoot of this, but just want to go very quickly, right, about Mastery Mondays episode 5. So guys, if you can hear me, right, if you know, help me type yes if you can hear me, right, and I'll get started very quickly. All right, so very quickly, number one, I just want to share a story, right? I was talking to a friend, right, a friend who I got to know from university a couple of days back, right, and what happened is I realized something about this friend, right, which is actually very common among people who especially people who have been doing well all their lives, especially in terms of academics, right? So these are the people who have been doing very well in their grades, right? They have been scoring very well, right? And they have what I call the model student, right? The model student. Hi Edward, what's up, right? And they have been doing very well in their grades, right? And what happened, right? What happened is as they go on to the real working world, right? As they go on to the real working world, right? Life is not as simple, right? Life is not as simple as just merely scoring a good grade, right? And that is the challenge for a lot of people who are pretty good, right? They are book smart, right? They are book smart, they study very hard, right? They go out, right? They have a whole strong work ethic, right? But the challenge is once they go out to work, right? Once they go out to the working world, the real adult life, right? It's not just about scoring good grades anymore, right? There's a whole bunch of things you got to be aware about, right? You need to know how to talk to your boss, right? How to present yourself carefully, soft skills, and more importantly, I think is you need to ultimately start doing a kind of thing that you are actually interested or passionate in. Because when you're studying, right, sometimes you just tell yourself, okay, I'm just doing it for the grades, right? I'll study how to get more options. But when you go to when you graduate, right, your options start expanding, and you might not have the awareness or desire, right, to actually kind of do the things you want, right? Primarily because all your focus was on the grades, but not really exploring your interests, right? So the thing is, because of that, a lot of people become scared, right? A lot of people become frightened, right, of the kind of things that they want to achieve in life, right? And that's going to be a challenge, right? That's going to be a challenge because they are so used to having that straight path. They're so used to having that usual doing well, right? Just doing well, doing a smooth journey, right? And so the big problem is, guys, right? The big problem is that just people are fear, and just want to share a little bit on that, right? Which is that ultimately, right, to be successful in life, to be fulfilled, to have a high level of achievement, right, is nothing, right, I say again, it's nothing to do with how well you do in grades. Yes, it gives you more options, right? It gives you more options, right? You get to explore what courses you want, right? Look good in front of employers, but to ultimately be fulfilled, right, you got to remind yourself, especially those who have been doing well in grades all for a long period of time, right, that it's not just about the grades, right? It's about actually doing the kind of things you want and just taking and just moving steps towards it, right? And so just a quick one for those who are fearful, right? There's one big tactic I learned from this guy called Tim Ferriss, right? Because the thing is, a lot of people, right, they go on to their usual job, whether it's in a banking job, a government role, right, being a teacher, whatever, right? But they are not fulfilled, right? And they realize that it's not the kind of thing that they want to do as much as society says might the right thing, etc. and stuff like that, right? So one big tactic, right, one big tip is to basically, right, to change, like, to do this thought exercise, right? If you were to switch your role, if you were to switch your career, for example, to quit whatever you are doing now, whether you have been in a job for 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, right? To really just write down, right? Assuming you were to move to that new role, right? What is the worst thing that can happen to you? What is the absolutely worst case scenario, right, that can happen to you, right? Most people, especially in Singapore and Malaysia, right? Most people, in my opinion, especially if you're watching this, right? You're probably not going to starve. You're probably not going to starve. You're not probably going to beg for your next meal. You probably will still have enough savings to tide you over a count of time, right? Maybe it's 3 months, 6 months, you can create backup plans. So the thing is, right, once you actually start creating that worst scenario backup plan for yourself, right, and you actually write it down, right, it becomes not so scary anymore. Because what happens is a lot of humans, right, we are afraid of the unknown, right? When you're afraid of the unknown, right, that's when we really don't want to take risks, we really don't want to take that kind of actions that can really potentially move us forward. So I'm not saying that, hey, the things you're going to take, right, whether is it you move from your banking job to something that maybe interests you more, right, whether is it you want to be a teacher, you want to be an author or whatever, right? But when you make the move, right, one thing you can do is actually to write down what is the worst potential scenario for yourself, right, and that's a huge potential way that you can actually overcome your fear, right? And so that's what I did for myself, right? When I moved on from my 9 to 5, right? When I moved on to becoming a marketer, right? With zero experience, zero knowledge, right, about this entire space, right? I wrote down my worst case, and I knew that, hey, even if I failed for this thing for 6 months to 1 year, right, I could move back to a government role, probably take a pay cut, right, stuff like that, right? And that's when your academics, your grades come into play. Okay, so I hope whoever is watching this, you like what I just shared, right? And that's a huge tip for you, right, in case you are overcoming potential fear. Okay, right? So number two, very quickly, right, as I move to my destination, right, I just want to share about how there's something that a lot of people do, right? There's something that a lot of people do that I want to urge you to stop, right? Or at least, right, not to be too reliant on it, right? And that is really, right, to stop watching all these like motivational videos, right, and do nothing about it, right? No one is saying that you can't, right? But what my effort, right, what my suggestion for you, right, is every time you watch a motivational video, every time you watch every time you watch a motivational video, every time you watch something that motivates you, that drives you, whether it's Gary Vee, right, whether is it Tony Robbins, right, whoever it is, right, is to really stop, right, stop just doing nothing and take action on it, right? And just add one more very quick point. Hi Rodrigo, what's up? Right, I know this is a bit impromptu, right? So one very quick point, right? So I think for those who are watching of you, right, please listen to this one last thing, right? Is every time you're on social media, right? This is something I learned from Mel just earlier this afternoon, right? Every time you're on social media, whether it's Instagram or Facebook, right? What I suggest for you guys to do this thing, which is called pay the price, right? And what do I mean by pay the price? Whether you're watching a YouTube video, whether you're surfing Instagram, whether you're surfing Facebook, right? What I mean to pay the price is to basically create a piece of content, right? Publish something, share an article that be useful for people, do some work, whether posting on social media, sharing one of your learnings, right? So basically every time your social media you decide to scroll, whether it's during a break, after your dinner, before your meal, right, in the morning, right, hopefully I don't do it in the morning, but every time you go scroll on social media, you must pay the price by creating a piece of positive content, right? Creating a piece of publishing something that's useful, sharing an article that might be useful for others, whether it's about business, happiness, career, right? To really just share, engage and create instead of passively consuming. Because the world, what happens is what drains your mind, what drains your soul, right, is a lot of people, right, they are always passively consuming, right? So every time you scroll on social media, instead of just wanting to consume, right, have the mindset that you are, right, every time you're going to be on social media, you're going to pay the price by creating something useful, publishing a content that's going to be pretty powerful as well, right? So that's my big suggestion for you, right? I think it's time to stop wasting your time on social media, right, and just passively consuming, but really creating something that's worthwhile for the people to benefit and learn from. Okay, so with that, I hope you guys enjoyed the content, right? And I'm going to sign out very quickly, right? And yep, bye everyone.